Perfect. All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our weekly SAIL College and Career Workshop. My name is Megan. I'm the program manager here at SAIL, or the Summer Academy to Inspire Learning. We're here at the University of Oregon. So this week is extra special because we have a number of guests with us today. Usually we just have one presenter, and today we have a whole bunch. And oh, I can hear myself. That was my bad. Perfect. All right. So we have a number of our SAIL students today who are all students at the University of Oregon. So I know some of you might be seniors and are in the process or just finishing up applying to colleges. And maybe some of you have even gotten acceptance letters already. And juniors, if you're a junior, I know you're starting to narrow down your list of colleges, maybe doing some research on where you'd like to go. And maybe if you're younger, a freshman or a sophomore, you might be wondering more generally if college is for you and what it's actually like once you get there. So a few weeks ago, we were doing a presentation like this, and we had a high school student ask a question of our mentors and just ask what their first day of college was like. I thought that was such a great question. The idea of college can be really exciting, but it might also be scary or intimidating or just unknown. Maybe you're the first person in your family to go, or maybe you're thinking of going somewhere far away. So the SAIL program, we put together this group of students for today to talk about what that first day or week or even year in college is like, and just sort of the experiences and resources that made them feel at home. And hopefully you can learn from that and think of things you might want to get involved in. So I'm just going to start us right off here. I'm going to start us off with Lily. She's a busy college student and has to run to class, so she gets to go first. But she's going to share a little bit about herself and her work with the first year experience program here at the U of O. Take it away, Lily.
Hi, I'm Lily. I'm a sophomore studying chemistry, and I'm from Portland. I'm actually home right now, but yes, I'm from Portland, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. And my first week of school, it was heavily FIG focused, actually. And the FIG program is something that we have at U of O's campus, and it's basically 3 classes that you and 20 other kids take. 2 of them are like regular 4-credit major classes. I mean, they count towards your degree, but it doesn't matter what major you have. And then one of them is a 1-credit seminar class that you take with the 20 other kids, and you meet once a week and you take it with them. So my experience with the FIG program was when I first got to school, I wasn't really sure what I was interested in or what path I wanted to take, but I knew I liked science, and I saw that there was this chemistry FIG where you could learn about genetics and stuff, and I was like, all right, I guess I'll do that. So then I signed up, and I wound up loving it. I made like one of my best friends in my major. Her name's Melina. I met her on that first day of school. We wound up just hanging out, and now we're close. But yeah, the entire first year, basically, I guess that entire first term, I got to see the same 20 people like once a week, which really helped make U of O feel like kind of a community, because I know there are 20 some odd students at that school, so it can feel really daunting, especially on your first day walking in, that you know that your classes are going to be really big. But in that FIG program is what made it feel like kind of a community. And then I guess fast forward from there, this year I was able to be a FIG assistant actually for that FIG. So that's kind of just like a TA that helps facilitate class and class discussions, and helps with study sessions and kind of points first years towards on-campus resources. So I guess I kind of have this perspective of being a student who like needed help and guidance, and also being a student who could help guide other students, if that makes sense. So yeah, the FIG program was awesome for me. I love working with them currently. I got to meet a lot of students and faculty members that I'm really close with these days. And the FIG office and the SAIL office are right next to each other, so I get to see a whole bunch of my peers all the time. But yeah, if you have any questions about the FIG program or anything, I'm sure after, if you have any questions, Megan can point you in my direction. But yeah, that was basically my experience with the FIG program.
have a question for you, Lily. So sometimes when you come in, my understanding is like some of those intro classes can be really big, and maybe you don't meet your professor, maybe you're being taught by a TA. So what was your experience with having kind of a closer contact with the professor and getting to work with professors a little more closely that first year? You feel like that's a good experience or that's helped you?
Yeah, absolutely. The two classes that are linked to the FIG that I was in are actually both, I think they're like 200 students. So I really never got to interact one-on-one with my professor unless I was asking questions after class. So it was good to be able to walk into that small class and be able to talk to a professor who has like a degree in something I care about, and then be able to ask her questions, as well as just like hear what she has to say, her experience in that field and at that school, and you know, just her insight on that those realm of topics at school. Yeah, she also has like good direction for students who may be interested in that topic but don't really know where to start. It's just a way to like connect with faculty specifically at school as well.
So if we have students out here who are thinking, yes, I'm going to go to the U of O and this FIG thing sounds really cool. I guess two questions. One, when do you have to start thinking about that? And two, and you touched on this a little bit, do you have to know what you want to major in to pick which one you want to be in?
Right. So I guess we can start with the second one. No, the answer is no. You don't have to know what you want to major in. I think there are so many FIGs out there. They have them on political science, history, like anthropology, linguistics, like whatever you think sounds cool, you can just feel free to add it to your fall schedule. And that's like, I think that's 9 or 10 credits right there that you have that count towards your degree, but like, it doesn't really matter what major you're in, which is awesome. So you can just kind of, it's a good way to explore too, if you're not really sure what you're into. And then a FIG starts fall term. So ideally you would register for your FIG sometime during orientation. They'll bring it up during orientation. But if you're still not sure, there's a website you could go to and you can explore there. And then there's an email at the very bottom of the list where you can email them, or you could call the FIG program, set up a little Zoom meeting. And then from there, you can talk to one of the FIG assistants or one of the FIG advisors, and they'll kind of help guide you into what type of FIG that that's best for you. So sometime in between orientation and the first day of fall term is when you'll kind of determine whether you want to be in a FIG and which FIG you want to be in.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Does any of our panelists have any questions that they want to ask Lily, or any clarifications? Or we'll talk a little bit more about FIGs later. But anything else anyone wants to add or ask? All right, we'll let you go to class. I don't want you to be late on account of us.
No worries.
It's really good to see you, and thanks for sharing about the program. And I think it's really cool that you've been involved it's 2 years now, right? You did one as a freshman and now you're working with that program. So some great opportunities. And we'll put all the links in the description for the YouTube so that people can go back and look. So, awesome. Thank you. Have a good
Bye,
rest of your
guys.
day. See ya. All right. Yes, we do have a couple more people who can talk about FIGs if you're thinking that you have more questions as you're watching, because I think it's a really cool program. And maybe some other people too can touch on ways, if you're not thinking the U of O, maybe ways you can get involved in similar programs. So I want to turn things over to Angel now. You can tell us a little bit about your experiences.
All right. Hey, everyone. My name is Angel Escorcia Nunez. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm a second-year student here at the University of Oregon, coming from the hometown of Albany, Oregon, small town. And right now, I just switched my major. So I was Family and Human Services, and now Journalism and Communications. And as Lily was talking about the FIGs, I was thinking back on like when I was first registering to U of O, and I actually registered for one of the FIGs, and it was the hip hop FIG. So it was a pretty cool fig, you know. And I truly believe it's probably one of the best figs at U of O, because at the end of each fall term you have to do like a project, right? So a lot of the figs do like actual assignments or actual homework. But our fig, we actually had to we were able to host a little concert at the U of O before COVID, you know. So we had like b boys, b girls. Our professor was a DJ, so he's pretty cool, and we actually guest featured him on the UO Instagram, so you guys can check him out on there and learn more about him. But yeah, we have live artists, and then we also collab with another fig that's, I forgot what the name of the fig was, but they made a lot of, they critiqued art, so they did a lot of cool. So so like on the hallway of GSH, that's where we hold the jam. They had like a little, it was like a little museum, you know. We presented their paintings, so it was pretty cool. And yeah, you know, it was a fun and great time my fall term. And my first year at U of O, you know, I was lucky enough to stay in the dorms. I stayed over at Bean, and I was also in an ARC, which is an academic residential community. So basically, what an ARC is, you know, a group of, it's like a community of first year students that share similarities in some sort. And I know there's a lot of arcs. There's like art and design, business, environmental leaders, global engagement. So it's like about a topic that you're really passionate about. And I was in the Latinx arc, and that was the very first year they had that arc. So I'm very proud to be a part of that first arc. And you know, really eased the transition into college and living in the dorms, because you know, as many of us know, U of O is predominantly a white campus, and there's a lot of, you know, it's kind of hard to find your community or people that share similar backgrounds. So the Latinx arc really helped me with that, because you know, I was living with a lot of students who speak Spanish, who are low income. They're also first generation college students, and yeah, you know, we were able to kind of transition together and kind of learn from each other and help each other out. And you know, it was, and that's kind of funny. That's how I was introduced to SAIL. So our I don't even know his name is Michael Haynes Garcia, right? He was the one who advertised for, well, he led the Latinx arc, right? And he invited a lot of people of color around the U of O community, like faculty and staff. And you know, kind of we had like a little meet and greet, and that was where I met Raul, who used to work with SAIL, and he was the one who told us about SAIL. He's like, it's a program that, you know, you get to mentor kids, you get to, you know, help them out, and motivate them and inspire them. And he said we got paid, so I was like, all right, I'm in. So you know, I signed up, put my name on there, and yeah, you know, a month and a half later I was working for SAIL. So you know, it's kind of funny how that works. But yeah, you know, it was great. And then the great part about that, you know, it really built a sense of community. We would have like, I remember we would have faculty bring tamales and just food, and we would watch like movies and just, you know, hang out. And yeah, you know, it was pretty special. But it was a little sad when spring term hit, because you know, that's when COVID kind of kind of hit. And then, well, not kind of hit, it really hit, and then everything went virtual. But um yeah, after spring term, they actually moved me to a different dorm. I got to stay at Calapuya, which is a really nice dorm for those of y'all who don't know. And so I went from like small room. So if y'all don't know what Bean is like, it's really a small room that you share with someone else. So it's like really tiny space, and it's, you know, it's cool. But I packed a lot of stuff, so like my dorm was like packed, you know. So it was kind of like too much, you know. And then so in spring term, they moved me to Calapuya, and that's a triple room. So it's like a room meant for 3 people, and I got to stay in there by myself. And I had my own bathroom in my room, so you know, I was living the life. Not gonna lie, Calipia. I felt like I was in my own apartment. You know, I felt like the man right there. But yeah, and you know, even before COVID, uh, like I really just kind of did my own thing, kind of followed my own passions. You know, I love playing soccer. I'm repping the Juventus jersey right now. And so I would like, you know, within the Latinx arc, I met a friend of mine, Jan, who plays soccer. So we would often go into the fields and play soccer. And that's kind of how we started making friends, you know, like you go to the field and then you just play pickup games with people you don't even know. And at the end of the game, if they beat you or if you beat them, you shake hands and they're like, hey, if you want to play again, let's exchange phone numbers. Here's my Instagram, Snapchat, and then let's play next week. So through that, I was able to like make a lot of friends and just hang out doing what I like to do. So just kind of my own thing. But yeah, that's a little bit of a spiel of my first year.
Thanks, Angel. I love hearing about your experience in the ARC. I think that's just such a special program that we have here. So I think we'll definitely have questions for you towards the end. But I did want to move us on to Jennifer to talk about some other opportunities that she's been involved in.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm a junior at the U of O, double majoring in political science and global studies and double minoring in nonprofit administration and Spanish. I'm originally from Newport, Oregon, which is a small town on the Oregon coast. And I actually did not live on campus my first year of college, and I did feel like I missed out on a lot of things. So I would not recommend that. I did it because of financial reasons, because I couldn't afford to live on campus, and it just seemed easier for me to live off campus. So I lived like 5 minutes off of campus, but still would highly recommend not doing that. If you can live in the dorms, I would recommend to live in the dorms. And two of the things that really made me feel connected to campus were Pathway Oregon, and Pathway is a scholarship through the U of O. You have to fill out FAFSA. I believe you have to have a 3.4 or above GPA in high school to get the scholarship. The scholarship pays for 4 years of tuition at the U of O. It's a really great scholarship, and I wouldn't be here if it weren't for Pathway. Their advisors are really great. They just have a really good support system, especially for low income first gen students. They've done a great job in helping me, and they did a really good job of helping me transition from a small high school into a college like the U of O. And actually, I had a Pathway Oregon peer mentor my first term of college. And she was really helpful. She was able to give me a lot of resources and made me feel welcomed on campus, and I was able to build a good relationship with her. And it was because of her that I started hearing about events on campus, because I didn't spend a ton of time on campus since I lived off campus. And I'm actually a Pathway Oregon peer mentor now myself, and I really enjoy mentoring students. So as you all can probably tell by everybody that's presented so far, if you get involved in something early on, the chances are that you will become involved in it. So like you'll experience it and then you'll be a leader in that position. And that's really great. Something else that made me feel really involved was the Diversity Excellence Scholarship. And I was awarded this my senior year of high school, I believe right before I graduated. So I had it coming in to the U of O, and this is a scholarship I believe they offer around $6,000 per year, and it's a competitive scholarship. It's harder to get it once you're at the U of O because the pool becomes more competitive, and so I definitely recommend like applying to that when you're in high school. And they offer a really great support system too. They helped me transition a lot, and it was because they're in like partnership with the Center for Multicultural Academic Excellence, which is known as a CMAE, which is in Oregon Hall, and they also work really closely with Pathway. So those two support systems helped me a lot my first year and my first term in general, when I had no idea what I was doing. And apart from those two resources, I also use the Duck Nest and the EMU a lot. I went there a lot my first term because I didn't know how to manage my stress or my anxiety as a first gen student. And so I went to their stress and management classes all the time, like on a weekly basis. And that also really helped me transition and feel more connected to campus. And I think that might be a little it for me. I also do have a registered disability, so I have accommodations through the Accessible Education Center. So just know that that is a resource that is available to you if you do have a documented disability. So they've also helped me a lot, and I wish that I would have registered my accommodations with them my first term of college. That's not something that I did. I waited until like spring term, I believe, and I wish I would have done it earlier. But I think that's pretty much it for me.
Jennifer, that's wonderful. Thanks so much for sharing. And I think so many of the things you mentioned would really resonated, obviously, with our other panelists and with our students too. So I think those are all awesome resources. Tyra, how about you? Let's hear a little bit about your first year and beyond.
Yeah, so I'm Tyra. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm majoring in global studies with a minor in biology and global health. And I remember going into college, I had no idea what to expect, and I really had not planned it out well. I'm first generation as well. And I just remember that first day, and I was just really scared. But I had joined a FIG and an ARC. It's called Carnegie Global Oregon. And so I lived on the floor with everyone who was in my ARC as well, and we met weekly. And that was really an amazing sense of community to have, and just to kind of have that place to come back to and to know that you had people that you knew and friends. And then also the two professors who run that program I've gotten really close with, and I can't recommend enough to really get involved on campus, but also especially with professors, because they can really help guide you and push you. And I actually got my job with SAIL from working and being really close with one of the professors. His name is Shaul Cohen. And also he had me TA for one of his upper level geography classes. So really getting connected with your community and your professors, I really recommend. But also within the first month of being on campus, I got a job as an avid tutor. And while that's off campus, it still really made me feel connected to Eugene as a community in general, which really helped me because I came from North Carolina. All of my family lives in Oregon, but I didn't know anyone going to school at U of O. So I felt really isolated, but to know that I had a community and I was making connections with people around me on and off campus was really amazing. And then I also joined an intramural volleyball team on my dorm floor. And that was awesome. It was so fun. We had practice every week and we would go to games, and it was a great way to get to know everyone on my dorm, but also to know people outside with who we would play games with and stuff. And just one more point, I just really want to echo what Jennifer said. Like, I also got the Diversity Excellence Scholarship, and it is so helpful. And the mentors that you meet with every term, whenever you get it, are very helpful. And I didn't get that until my junior year. So I highly recommend applying for as many scholarships as possible coming into college. That was not something that I did. And so that was another kind of big shock whenever I got to school. I was like, oh, I didn't even think about how I was really going to pay for it, because I had gotten the Summit Scholarship, which is a large scholarship, but I hadn't really thought past that. So really making sure that all your bases are covered, but also knowing that you can still make community and still form these connections that will support you and help you get through college. So.
Thank you, Tyra. I love especially hearing from our seniors, because they have so much, seniors and juniors, there's so much to look back on and so much advice. So it's awesome to hear about your journey. Adrian, I think you're up next.
Hi, everyone. My name is Adrian Cruz. My pronouns are he and his, and I'm a senior studying family human services and minoring in special education. My hometown would be Eugene, Oregon. So yeah, something I wanted to talk about is, so for my experience, the first 2 years of college, I didn't really have the opportunity to get involved on campus or anything. So it looks a little bit different for me, but something I would say is when I started getting involved on campus, I decided to get a job. And so the funny thing how it started is I was taking a sociology class in Fenton Hall, and I saw a sticker that said Safe Ride. And so I was just curious to know what it was, and I looked it up. And then I started volunteering for that program. And pretty much the program is like you're supposed to give rides to students and staff, faculty in the evening time. And you take them to different locations, like whether they're going home, grocery store, something like that. And then I was a volunteer, like I said, and then they were hiring. So they asked me if I wanted to apply for a position. So I became a dispatcher. And now I've been working with the program for 3 years, and I'm a coordinator. And so I was able to get the opportunity to, just start as a volunteer, get a job, get paid for it, really get to know the area of Eugene, because even though I'm from here, I wasn't familiar with the whole Eugene and Springfield area. And so I think it's a great opportunity to build a community. And you get to work with other college students. Our staff back then was 60 staff. So it was a large group. And you really got to make connections, make friends, and things like that. And from there, I have been able to get involved with different clubs. So it was like junior year that I began getting involved. And so it's something I would say it's never too late to get involved on campus. And I've been a part of U of O Impact. You get to work, be a part of this group that has first generation college students. And I've also become a part of the first gen working group, which is facilitated by faculty and staff and other admins. You have 2 student representatives, so I get to be one of them and get to voice concerns of, how you can help other first gen students coming into college, and how to again make a community as you start college. And another program I want to highlight is Ondaku Sab. That one you get to work with Dreamer students. And again, it's for advocating, for helping students, get scholarships, and things like that. So again, my experience looks a little bit different because I didn't start building that community as I first began college. So I would encourage all of you to get involved on campus as soon as you get there. But again, I've had a great experience in the last 2 years that I've been in college. So yeah, that's a little bit about my story.
Thanks, Adrian. I love the examples that you shouted out about getting into sort of leadership positions too, and kind of working into those and building your network. So that's awesome. I think Lolly, I think you're next.
Hi, I'm Lolly. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm a 4th year at the U of O. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I'm double majoring in psychology and family and human services. I don't want to repeat too much about FIGs, but I was also in a FIG, and my experience was I was in a FIG that had nothing to do with my major, like at all. But it had like one class that I was interested in, so I just was like, sure, let's do it. And one of my good friends is I met in my FIG, and we still get together with our FIG professor for lunch and catch up. And I would highly recommend it to anyone and everyone. It doesn't have to be like a topic you're super interested in majoring in. And then another thing is my RA freshman year was super involved. She really pushed for us to be on an intramural basketball team, which I'm horrible at basketball, but it was fun. I would highly recommend intramural sports, and also just like the rec center in general. I am the type of person who can't really get the motivation to like work out on my own. So joining a PE class and having it like in your schedule, super helpful. There's also like so many interesting ones that you would have never thought of, like rock climbing. So I would recommend that. And also the Duck Nest is a really good stress relieving type place. You can color, you could do aromatherapy, you can take a nap, you can do it all. But yeah, and then also I highly recommend before your first day of class going on campus and figuring out where your classes are. I remember freshman year, I was super stressed because my schedule, I had 10 minutes in between class, and that's like not enough time to like figure out where your class is. So the before my first day of school, all my roommates and I, we like went to campus and we went to every single building that we all had classes in to kind of like figure out and get familiar with the campus. And I would highly recommend doing that. So you're not very stressed on the first day. Yeah.
Thanks, Lolly. Oh, you made me really curious now, though. I want to know what your FIG was on.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So the class that I was interested in was philosophy of popular culture. But the other one that I wasn't so interested in was Scandinavian literature, which was really interesting. I loved the professor, and it also fulfilled like gen eds that I probably would have had trouble fulfilling otherwise. But yeah, I would highly recommend.
Nice. Thanks for sharing. And then Nico, I think you're our last one before we get to some questions.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Nico. I am a fourth year at the UO, double majoring in family human services and sociology. I feel like I'm missing. Oh, my pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm from Southern California. So my first year at the UO, I actually met my roommate at the introduction, so I didn't get into a FIG because I was like, I want to be with my roommate, and he wasn't in a FIG, right? So that's how it started. I remember first week there was a bunch of stuff. It looked like a carnival at school, like a bunch of stuff trying to, get you to do things, get you to become a part of certain communities, and it really builds like self-choice and autonomy. So you can kind of figure out what you want to do, and it makes it easier to have the resources presented to you rather than looking for the resources. And so I found a lot of resources through that. I also got an email my first week from a group called CMAE, which Jennifer touched on. And they were offering a camp for the weekend or like 3 days. And I was interested because, you can kind of meet people that are similar to you and of different diverse cultures. And so I was interested. I went to it, and I actually met a group of friends that I still talk to this day, 4 years in advance. So going to that camp really helped me kind of branch out and meet the people that I stay in contact to this day. I will touch on, because everyone's talking about FIGs. I was not part of a FIG. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I came into college kind of lost on the subject I wanted to take, and FIG was a good part. The route I took was taking everything. I explored every possible subject I could. I changed my major 4 times or 3 times: architecture, then math, now family human services, then sociology. So it takes time to, explore what you really want to do. And in that, I met communities such as, people in journalism that sort of helped me kind of learn how to interact and be a part of certain communities. So there's a lot of things that college offers, and they kind of present it to you. They don't just hide it, kind of put it in your face and say, here, But yeah, that was sort of my experience with it.
Thanks, Nico. We'll get into some questions now, and I think my first question is for Nico. Excuse me. So because you changed your major a couple times, which I love that you talked about that, because I think everyone thinks they have to come in and know exactly what they want to do, and then it's just like not true. What was your relationship with the advising program? Was that something that you utilized? Was it something that you found helpful as you kind of decided what classes you needed to take and how those all work together to make a degree?
Yeah, the advising program that I used was in the CMAE office. I went to them very often, and they sort of told me that, it's okay that you don't know what you want to do coming into college. But they said you could go in undeclared. I went in undeclared. I decided that, my grandfather took architecture. I was like, you know what? I'm interested in architecture. Went into architecture, didn't do well, so I switched. I liked math. They said, I'm fully supporting you. You can do this. This is your first year. If there's some pitfalls, you have a lot of breathing room. I went to math. I liked it. I lost some motivation for the subject personally. I talked to them about it. They said, you know what? It's your second year now. It's okay. You have time still to figure out what you want to do. Fully support, right? So the end of second year comes around. They're sort of telling me that I need to declare a major. So I declared for math just to kind of transition into my third year and start taking classes to graduate, really. And I was a math major until my second term in junior year. And, but luckily for me, the advisors kind of helped me take classes that I was interested in, which was in the field of sociology and the field of family human services. So I was taking those classes along with, the math requirements. So the transition I had was very smooth because of the advisors that were given to me and that I talked to.
Process. Kind of still want to talk about mentoring and advising. So Jennifer, if I can come back to you, I was hoping you could share a little bit more about kind of your relationship with peer mentoring as you had them connected to the scholarships and the programs you were a part of. And then now that you are a peer mentor, talk a little bit about how people get connected and communicate with your mentor and what kinds of things they can help with.
Yeah, so my general relationship with my Pathway Oregon mentors is really well. My first term, I met with a couple because I was like, who do I feel most comfortable with? And that's something that you have to figure out as a student. Like, you can have more than one advisor, more than one mentor, but essentially you have to, meet with a bunch of people before you find one where you're like, okay, like this is the person that's really going to help me. So that's what I did. I talked to a lot of mentors and advisors until I found one from Pathway Oregon that I felt really, really comfortable with. And I've built a relationship with him for the last like almost 3 years, and he knows me really well. And I really appreciate that relationship. And with my peer mentor that I had my first term of college, I was able to get help from her through text and email. So that's how you communicate mostly as a peer mentor. It's not like going into an office and like talking face to face with someone. It's mostly through text message and email, which is really nice because it's really accessible, and you have the choice to respond to them or not if you want to. And I was a little bit hesitant in this at the beginning, but then I started building a connection with her and a relationship with her, and she was also a first gen Latina, so I really resonated with her and her experiences. And just going kind of into my experience as a Pathway peer mentor, as a low-income first-gen student and as a Latina, I was assigned students that had similar backgrounds as me, which was really great. And I felt that I could connect with them better. But regardless, I could connect with students either way, whether they resonate with my background or not. And so building those relationships has been really important to me. And the kind of resources that I give to them is like events that are happening on campus or opportunities that are coming up, like the Portland internship experience application that opened and I think just recently closed. So like opportunities like that, or if they have questions or concerns, I direct them, in areas that they can get help. So if a student approaches me talking about mental health and express concerns with that, I can direct them to like the counseling center, for example. And because I've used a lot of resources on campus, I've also gotten better about talking to students about these resources because you learn from them and you experience them, so then you can give them to other students and you yourself become a resource, which is really great. So that's just kind of my experience.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing a little bit more about how that works. I think it's nice to know that there are a number of different ways to get connected with people. Well, okay, let's look at some questions that we have here. Okay, this one we can kind of open up and maybe, 3 or 4 people can answer and share some different experiences. But what was the most memorable or surprising moment of your first term in college? Something you weren't expecting, but that was something, I don't know, advice or just a fun memory to pass on.
I can start. So at the time, it wasn't necessarily memorable, but thinking about it now, it definitely was. So through my FIG ARC CGO, our first day, so we got on campus early and we moved in early to get to know our group. And so I think our first night we had a dinner and I like quickly connected with these 2 girls, Natalie and Ella. And I remember thinking, so Ella had gone backpacking and she seemed super cool. And I was like, I want to be friends with her. And we got really close and they ended up being my roommates for the past 3 years. And we're really close friends and we've lived together for the past 3 years. And so that's just something that's really memorable now. Obviously, at the time, I didn't know. I came into college really young too. I was 17 whenever I started at U of O. And so I really wasn't expecting to like make friends like that easily. But now they're really close friends and we live together. And that's something that I will cherish forever. So.
I think similar to that, I lucked out and had an awesome floor in my dorm, and all 3 of my roommates now are actually from my floor. And one of them was like my suite mate. It was like I had a direct roommate and we shared a bathroom with 2 other people. And so the one that I shared a bathroom with is my roommate, and then 2 other people from our floor. So yeah, you really keep those connections you make freshman year for sure.
I had a similar experience, but living off campus. So I lived in a complex that actually you can do a random roommate selection. And I actually lived in a room with another person. So it was like an apartment, but like there was like a wall in between the room. And so I did a random roommate and I took a leap of faith because I had no other choice. I like didn't know anybody that was going to school in Eugene because my town is like really small and there's not very many people that pursue a higher education. And so I took the leap of faith and did the random roommate selection, and she became like my best friend. Like I'm literally like her maid of honor, like she's getting married, like that kind of best friend. So like you do build relationships with like those first people that you meet, and they become very valuable in your college experience, and it's just really wonderful.
I love hearing all these roommate stories. It's so sweet because it's been a while since I've been in college, but I also have super vivid memories of the first time I met the people who ended up being my best friends. So it's really, yeah, it's really special, the people you meet and can keep in contact with. Um, Maybe on a little bit different note, and obviously only share if you feel comfortable. But we have a question. What was one of the biggest challenges you faced during your first year? And maybe how did you find the resources to overcome it?
I can go first. Definitely for me, I think the biggest challenge was kind of like finding my own space and staying prioritized and disciplined, because when you live in the dorms, you obviously share a room with someone else. So it's difficult to have that own space for yourself, like, have your own peace and quiet when you want to, and there's no one in at U of O who's gonna be strict on you, be like, you're gonna need to do your homework today, you need to do this today, so no one's telling you what to do. So that gives you a lot of liberty to, just do whatever you want. You can sleep in, you can miss class, you can not do the assignment. It's very easy, to fall off track. So, I noticed that the first term, because I was, getting distracted a lot by the people that lived in the dorms, my friends. So I was like, okay, I know, like, I know that I'm here, and I want to, like, be successful, and I want to, like, make my dreams happen. So I gotta, like, stay on top of my business. So, I started just, like, going to the library by myself, finding my own study spaces by myself, talking with advisors a lot. They really, like Nico was saying, like, I was visiting the CME Advising Center a lot. I was going there. Like, it really became a big help for me, because, like, I didn't know, like, all the procedures to college. I didn't know, like, that I had to fill out the FAFSA, and I had to, like, file independent status, or, all the bolts and nuts of college. Every application you have to do. So I really relied on, faculty and staff to guide me through it and help me get through it. And, I really appreciate that, because it's got me on track. And plus, I've also made connections with them. So they've offered me, like, they've told me, if you like this, if you're into family human services, take these classes. And that's how I got into it. But I also, once I wanted to switch my major, which was like a couple of weeks ago, they're like, it's possible. It's just your second year, you can do it. So we planned our graduation plan, all that. And yeah, it's really helped me get to where I am today. And, very grateful for that. So yeah, it's still something that I need to work on. I still need to discipline myself on some aspects, but I'm improving. So yeah.
I can go next. My biggest struggle was definitely financial. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I only applied to U of O. And I got the Summit Scholarship with my whenever I got accepted. And I kind of just assumed that that was like enough and that would be fine. And I literally did not think about how I was going to pay for college ever again until like the day I was moving in. And my parents were like, so how are you paying for this? And I was like, I don't know. And so that was a really big stressor for probably like all of my first year. And I immediately got a job like a few weeks into school as the Avid tutor, which I got through the UL Career Center, which is a great place to find jobs or volunteer opportunities as well. And then I started applying for a lot of scholarships. But I think one of my biggest recommendations that I tell like every single person that's looking into going to college is apply for scholarships. It's literally free money. And I now have Diversity Excellence Scholarship, but if I had applied for that my senior year of high school, then I would have not been in any debt. I would have been completely covered by my scholarship. So really knowing how you're going to pay for things and being prepared, and also knowing how financial aid works, because I had no idea that I could just go to talk with a financial aid advisor. I didn't know how easy it could be or how easy some even scholarship applications are. So I really recommend to figure out your finances, because it's just a huge added stressor on top of already starting college and not knowing everything that you're doing already. So yeah.
Oh, Adrian, you go.
I guess for me, one of the biggest challenges is being afraid of asking for help. I think being coming from a low socioeconomic status and being a first gen student, I think in my culture, technically, you see asking for help as a sign of weakness, in a way. And so I think that was a major challenge, is just being able to ask for help. How to get into college, I had zero clue on how to do that. So it was a struggle getting to college. But um, again, I related back to had I not asked in high school, my junior year, about a job, um, I don't know if I would have been able to, even begin college. So again, it's all about asking for help and not being afraid to do that, because that really benefits you long term, and it expands into getting a lot of opportunities and building connections with people. Um, so yeah, I just recommend to like not be afraid to ask for help. If you can't find help in one way, there is a lot of people that are willing to support you, but you just have to take that initiative um, to seek help. So yeah, that's
I think along with asking for help, just putting yourself out there in general. I'm from California, I was in a different state, like first time living on my own, didn't know anyone. And I'm pretty shy and introverted. So, just trying to put yourself out there, join as many things as possible to meet people. Um, yeah, it's definitely worth it because you never know where you'll meet people.
I have like a opposite experience as Angel. I was too disciplined. I was like, I'm here for college, like I'm here for my academics, like I'm not gonna let myself have a social life until I have all of my homework done. And that's unrealistic because you're always gonna have something to do in college, whether that's homework or whether you have a job or whether you're involved in extracurriculars, like you're always gonna have something to do. And that is not something that I like figured out until like literally the end of my spring or until spring term of my freshman year. So the end of my freshman year that I was like, okay, maybe I'm being too hard on myself. And so I really just did not let myself do things and didn't let myself be as free or as involved as I could have been. And I wish that I would have done those things earlier and realized that like my first term of college, but I didn't because the mentality that I was in was like, okay, I have all these scholarships that I need to maintain a GPA for. So like I'm gonna try my hardest and nothing is gonna distract me. But the reality is that when you're in college, that like there is like this social life that you have to gain experience and to make friends and to do all these other things and to be involved. And that's not something that anybody told me. That's something that I had to figure out myself. So make sure that you don't over discipline yourself and that you give yourself a social life because that's also going to benefit your mental health, which is really important and something that you have to learn how to prioritize in college.
I could touch on this real quick. So for a fear of mine that I had, this is kind of different. But I was terrified that I didn't know what I wanted to do. I went in kind of blind, went in undeclared. I remember talking to my friends. No one was undeclared. I was scared, right? I am so sorry. That's my princess. 1 second. Okay, so I was terrified, right? And I was kind of just wandering, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I was like, I want to make an impact, right? And I was like, I should make money too. So I went on UO's website, looked for some jobs. I found SAIL, right? I've been a SAIL for 4 years. You know, it like, and that has helped me meet people that, you know, are really important to me. And it was a struggle to try to find your niche and what you want to do after college, right? But, you know, now I have a job set up in which I could mentor this printer. Yeah, so I'm gonna end it on that. We can move on. This printer's, man.
No, I think that was like perfect timing, Nico. I don't know if you planned that or not, but thanks for the sales shout out. Because I think that's huge. I think we, as you've seen, just about everyone here has been involved with SAIL or is a friend of SAIL or an organization that we work with. And I think our goal really is to help people make that transition. And like you said, give people, you know, you need a job, you need some volunteer hours, you want to keep connected with people. Just give people the space to kind of give back and to learn about themselves and what they're interested in. So thanks for bringing us back to that, Nico. And gosh, anybody want to shout out any other resources or clubs or anything that's like on your mind where you're like, hey, no one mentioned this, but this actually was really cool.
I want to shout out the Multicultural Center because they have a lot of student unions, and I definitely recommend getting involved with a club through the MCC. It's also just a really good space where you can go and just like do homework and socialize with other people. They have printing resources there too, just as the CMAE does. And another thing that I wish I would have known as a first year was about the Student Activities Board. They have a lot of ways that you can become involved on campus or like just socialize with other people. It's a really good way to make friends and just make connections.
One thing I wanted to add is if there's not a group on campus that you can find, you are able to start your own group or club. So again, being able to make connections with faculty or staff or an advisor that can help you and support you with starting your own club or group, that's something that I would also encourage you. If you don't think there's something on campus that you might fit in, you can begin your own journey with creating something new. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that as well.
Awesome. And I think because we just have 2 minutes left, that went by so fast. For high school students that are out there watching and saying, wow, this all sounds super exciting, but I'm not going to go to college for a couple years, or I want to get a head start. That's also a big part of what SAIL does. So we have summer programs and we have mentoring throughout the school year, and we'll put more information in the description so you can get connected with us. But SAIL is a way that you can start coming onto campus, where you can start meeting faculty, where you can start meeting college students, where you can start kind of putting yourself in that mindset, putting yourself in that space of imagining what it would be like, and gaining a lot of experience so that when you do make that transition, you feel a lot more comfortable, you know people, or you're already connected with some of those resources. So that's something to think about too, is if all of these things sounded exciting and you want to get started and get involved and get advice from all of these awesome people you've been hearing from, it's a really great way to do it, is to set yourself up for success by starting in high school and building that bridge for yourself. So everyone's mentioned so many great things. We'll be hard at work putting links in the description so that you can get connected with some of these resources, do your own research. Angel, you want to give us a shout out for Instagram?
Yeah, definitely. So our SAIL Instagram is at uo.sail. And, we post amazing resources on there. I post scholarships weekly, every Friday. We have guest features every Monday. Wednesdays, we just post miscellaneous resources. But yeah, just a great way to, get in touch with the UO community and with the SAIL program. It's a great way. And yeah, check it out.
Yeah, sweet. Thank you. Well, everyone, let's give each other a little round of applause here. It was really special having all of you here. I always learn something when I talk to all of you mentors. And it just makes me makes me so happy that we have so many amazing people on our campus and that you can share with our community. So thanks so much for taking time out of your day to be here. I hope you have an awesome afternoon. Those of you watching, same to you. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you back here next week. For next week, we're going to be talking about resumes, building your resume with the Career Center here at the U of O. So you don't want to miss that. But thanks, everyone. Take care.